Hey food nerds, I'm Julianne Fader, the Gastronerd. Ever cut one of these before, or a yellow version of it? It's called an onion, and chances are it's made you cry. And that's because it has sulfoxides. That when you cut them, they release these chemicals that make your eyes tear. It's that terrible sensation that onions are notorious for. But I'm going to teach you a few tricks that if you cut this baby properly, you're not going to tear up, or you certainly won't tear up so bad. A key component first to look at in any onion is this part right here. An onion is a bulb, and this is what's holding the whole bulb together. So when we're going to cut this, and especially the first step when we peel it, make sure not to cut much of it off, just the very bare tip. Not only is it going to hold the onion together while we cut it, but it's actually going to help prevent from releasing a lot of those chemicals that make you tear up. So without further ado, let's cut into this baby. So first to begin, let's peel. I like to remove just a little bit of the top, just as little as possible from the bottom. Remember, we can always discard this later. And then I just go around, cut some of that off. And then I peel. I generally find the most outer layer, in addition to the skin of the onion, can often be very tough, so I generally discard it. See? See, this is often bruised and a little bit darker. It gets nice and sweet. Voila. Now for the cutting. First step, first of all, have a sharp knife, always. Cut the onion in half. Down the middle. See, we cut it in half this way. And that way, this root guy that I was telling you about is gonna hold the onion together so nicely. Already I can tell that my eyes are not watering, and if I had cut this off, they would be watering. Of course, you can slice the onion traditionally the long way. You could do tons of different cuts, but this is a very traditional cut for a dice, and of course you can modify from there. So to begin, this step for a small dice is a 3-step process. The first step is going to be parallel to the board. Second step is going to be going along the onion, and then the final step will be going this way. So boom, boom, boom. Now, with my cutting board as close to me as possible, this makes it easier, and having a sharp knife, I'm gonna start by making my incisions. And it's just nice little parallel, small. Of course, how far apart you make these cuts will vary based on how big you want your chunks to be for your dice. So this is the first part of the incision. So boom, boom, boom. Very nice. And notice I'm not going fully through the onion. I'm stopping about here, wherever you feel comfortable. So making sure that this guy still is intact so it doesn't fall apart. Now step 2, I'm going to be going this way along the onion. Woo! But I can just turn this to me for convenience and just go down. And like I said, of course, this can be adjusted depending on how small you want the cut of your onion to be. And the beauty of having a sharp knife here is because it's going to bruise the onion a lot less, and it'll make a quicker, sharper incision. And you might get a few of these little pieces. It's okay, you can always chop through them later. Now for the last and my favorite part, step 3, I'm going to go this way of the onion. So I just went this way, then I went that way, I turned it, don't be deceived, and now I'm going. So I've created literally a matrix within the onion, so it's going to release a perfect dice. So here we go, and this also is really keeping with the size, so I'm gonna have a really nice small dice of onion. I have a perfect dice. Now, the downside to this is I have a little piece like this at the end, the nub, so to speak. Of course, we can continue. What I like to do is I push this aside, and then I will make little cuts like this. And these last two I kind of just go over really quickly. You can just follow the natural line of the onion. It's very easy like this. And of course, if you don't feel like cutting it up and you're making a delicious soup or stock, you can just put the whole piece of onion in there. This very end part, where the bulb connects, is tough and not very desirable from an edible perspective. So there you have it, my beautiful dice of onion, and eyes still very intact and not watery, I can promise you. See, very nice clear eyes. The scare ain't running. What did we learn today? 3 major steps. 1 huge factor, when peeling and cutting the onion, leave on that little end nub that's gonna hold the onion together. That little tough part that we're gonna end up throwing away, yes, it will really make a difference when it comes to releasing those sulfoxides, those dangerous compounds that make you tear. Have a sharp knife. It'll bruise the onion less, it'll make cleaner incisions and make clean cuts, and just do it purposely. Don't. The more you chop an onion, the more likely you're gonna release those chemicals and you're gonna tear. Watch out, onions. Here we come. We're not scared of you anymore. Thanks for watching The Gastro Nerd. I'm Julianne Fader, and stay tuned for more delicious nerdiness to come.